And I welcome Raviraj sir. If I am standing here, it's because of him. The fact of the matter is, in spite of being so knowledgeable, so experienced, sir strongly believes more doctors should do it. He had the privilege to charge even 10 lakh rupees for what he's doing. He kept it so affordable. He wants more people. He doesn't want monopoly, nothing. We are very blessed to have him with us, not only here, but also in the whole process of the KPR in India. So I think for you, it will be definitely a lifetime opportunity that he is speaking here.
My pranams to the senior doctors here and love and greetings to my young friends. Dr. Srijit has covered almost everything. Now, the job what he has left for me is to differ from him, to disagree with him actually. I'm very sure if I disagree with him, he will take in the spirit of Tadvidya Sambhasha. That's why I think you are wearing black and I am wearing white. Anyway, I am not an apta. So you don't have a burden of agreeing, believing and following everything what I say. Pradeepa bhutam hi shastrani darshanam vipulamatihi tabhyamata suyuktabhyam bhishangnatra muhyati. Everything has to be seen in the light of the Shastras. Apply your own mind and intellect and draw your own conclusions. To make you believe, I don't have any records or proof because I have not kept any records. Because I believe that we are all in the very, very beginning stage of Kayakalpa Kutipraveshika Rasayana. We are very beginners. We don't have to flaunt our records like the LKG and UKG marks card. Do we take LKG and UKG marks card to anywhere? No. Please don't take it seriously when you attempt your Kutipravesha, because we are in a play home of Kutipravesha. Don't take a milk in the bottle and with a rubber nipple upon it. You can drink the milk in a 24 karat stainless steel bottle. No problem. See, the problem is the very strict criteria laid down by our acharyas at one point, and at other end, the expectation of the people who want to live for 500 years, who want to vote for in another 100 coming general elections. So we are in between. So it is very, very difficult at this point of time because the revival of Kutipraveshika Rasayana is in Ama stage. It is in the very beginning. Until few years back it was in coma stage. Now at least it is in Ama stage. So we need to wait. We have to do more work. Then only we can go public. Otherwise we can be a laughing stock, So, since we are in play home or LKG or UKG stage of the Kutipraveshika Rasayana, how can I share my information, what I have, little knowledge I have in this field is, I want to share with you in the form of a story. Okay? So, I hope it is okay for you. And before I move on to the story, I have given a title for this story. So the title of the story is Revelation of Kutipraveshika as it happened in my life. I want to stress upon this word, happened, because I was just a part of these happenings. I did little, I was a part of it. My master Swami Satchidananda, he used to tell everything in a very, very beautiful way. He used to tell me, once he told me, just there is a big elephant, big elephant. All the elephants are big, of course. So the elephant is going from Kottakkal to New Delhi. And on the head of the elephant, there is a small ant. And it is coming from New Delhi to Kottakkal. So it is traveling from the head of the elephant to the tail. And sometimes it changes its mind. It changes its mind to go from tail to head, head to tail, Delhi to Kottakkal, Kottakkal to Delhi. But do you think any decision of this ant, any action of this ant has any meaning? It is just riding on the elephant, and irrespective of its decision and the action, ant will reach always where the elephant will reach. So the revival of the best thing the ant can do is to enjoy the ride and sit and balance. So the revival of Kutipraveshika Rasayana has already begun. It is the wish of the God. What best we can do is, we can just ride this elephant. We can just enjoy our journey. We can just silent, and we can just balance ourselves so that we are not off the track of the elephant. So without me, without Srijit, without any one of you, the Kutipraveshika Rasayana will survive, will revive, and will serve the humanity. It is the decision of the God. So we will do our part. So before I move on to the story, I would like to tell you something. Yesterday I was here in the last session where you were presenting the papers. So after listening to 5-6 papers, I thought I may speak few words about it. Please don't take it otherwise. Because now there is a tendency in the society, also in the community of the Ayurveda people, that we want to prove everything scientifically. I have seen one patient, if the weather is cold, she will not cover herself with a blanket. First she will look at the thermometer, and then she will cover herself with a blanket, because she needs a proof. She is no more believing her body, she is believing the thermometer. I had one very nice cousin who is always spending much of his energy in analyzing the problems scientifically. Once he came to me with a stiff back straight. So at that time it was his problem, and I had a solution. But he didn't want the solution. He wanted to discuss first all the scientific background, how it happened. He wanted to show off his knowledge. He had the suggestions myself to me. So I took the words of Vagbhata. Tyajedartam bhishak bhupai dishtam tesham disham disham dash 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 kratagnam vaidyamaninam. So I rejected. See, we have the luxury of rejecting the patient even in the field of Kutipraveshika Rasayana. I have my own strategy how to tell it in a very nice way. And so until then, he was having a problem. Now, he went to the orthopedician, and now he entered the first stage of disease, that is X-ray stage. This is a new classification which I have in my clinic, X-ray stage. And the orthopedician prescribed him the painkillers, and the painkillers did their job very well. So, after few months of taking the painkillers, he entered into the second stage of the disease. First time he came straight. Second time he came with all the MRI scanning report. He came like this. So, it is the MRI stage. So, his problem is more advanced, scientifically more advanced and technologically more advanced. And he went for that modern treatment again, had a discussion. And finally, after 1.5 years, he came to me in the Ananta Padmanabha Shayana. So he came in the bedridden stage. That was the Ayurveda stage. See, the people want to have, they are happy with scientific explanation of the problem than the solution, which may not have a scientific explanation in the contemporary science. It is also applicable in our Kutipraveshika Rasayana. The people want to suffer scientifically. They want to die scientifically. Only thing what they want to have is the scientific explanation for everything. Before we prove everything scientifically, we have already started this. I think we are entering an era of Purusha Ayusha Sankshaya in doing many scientific research in everything. Of course it is needed, but too much is too bad. We have started correlating everything in the modern way. What is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, what is how the drugs work, what is the diagnosis, everything is in modern way. But before we start Vata, Pitta, Kapha, we should not forget the origin of Ayurveda. Brahma, Smritva, Yushovedam, Prajapati, Majigrahat. So first we have to prove the existence of Brahma scientifically. Then only we can move. Unless we prove the existence of Brahma, unless we define what is Brahma, how can we proceed to the next stage? What is Vata, Pitta, Kapha and drugs? So, we could not do it. See, one day it can happen, a paper may be presented that Saint Bharadwaja, after many research, we have found out that Saint Bharadwaja was the first BA/MS degree holder in the universe, in the world. And he got his BA/MS degree from the Supra Celestial Ayurveda College, where Indra was a principal. And he got his degree without a Viva Voce examination. It can go up to that. So, it makes no sense to go on, because we could not establish Brahma scientifically. What has happened is, modern gurus have entered the field of Ayurveda. I don't know what is happening in Kerala, but in other parts of India it is happening. Modern gurus have entered the field of Ayurveda, and they tell, just leave this Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara to us, we will take care of them. And you manufacture Ayurvedic soaps, Ayurvedic toilet cleaners, and these modern gurus have started their spiritual OPDs, spiritual IPDs. And now, if we go on publishing this, soon they will enter into Kayakalpa field, like Kutipraveshika field also. And I think it is the term I want to coin, it is a spiritual intensive care unit for them. And I think they will definitely succeed. And see, we go on proving the very big things in our science, and the people want a scientific explanation, modern doctors want a scientific explanation for every single drug and formulations. But these modern gurus, in their spiritual field, the same scientists and the same doctors go to their spiritual OPDs and wash their body with the Ayurvedic soaps to get rid of the blood pressure. See the contradiction. And what is the point is, they have successfully implemented, understood one point which is secretly told in Ayurvedic science. That is, mysticism plays a greater role than the scientific explanation. That is why it is a hidden meaning. Before telling Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the Acharyas have told Brahma Smratva Yushovedam Prajapati Majigrahat. And they have told in Charaka Samhita, I think, the Samanyam ta Vishesham cha Dadrushur Yathavat Jnana Chakshusha. So that means mysticism comes first, then comes the science. And because they have implemented this mysticism as a successful business model also, it is the time, because yesterday my sisters were telling, it is the time to go scientific, it is the time to go scientific. I think first it is the time to go mystic. Don't lose the mysticism in your practice. And especially in the field of Kutipravesha, mysticism is absolute necessity. Okay? So please don't take it otherwise. So with this, I will move on to my next topic. There is one beautiful shloka. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukumaiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyam Amratat. It is a Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Once sage Shukracharya, he took a big challenging tapas, hanging upside down from the tree, and a big fire was lit from the below. And he did it for thousands of years. And after the completion of the tapas, he was extremely debilitated. And Swayam Mahadev, Mahashiva appeared before him and gave this mantra to rejuvenate him. And he got rejuvenated. Like that, in all our ancient texts, we see so many chantings, Vishnu Sahasrama, Gayatri Mantra. These are all extremely rejuvenating. What I want to say is, the contribution of Indian philosophy towards the Amritattva is absolutely fantastic. And because of these hidden divinity in our process, hidden divinity in all the medicines, we can be successful. So we have to surrender ourselves to this divinity. Why? To live for 100 or 200 or 500 years. To be able to follow these chantings. If the people are from other religion, it is for them to follow their religion in a very profound way and to reach the highest goal. So what my point is, if at all a criteria is to be laid, who is the adhikari to have the Kutipravesha? It is the mumukshatva. The person should be on the path of liberation, on the path of moksha. He only can be successful. Other people cannot have the success at all. If you want to have a new teeth, you can go to the dentist. If you want to have a new hair, you can go to the implantation. If you want to have a new body, then the nature will give you a punarjanma also. But only thing is, in the punarjanma, the human body is not guaranteed. What is our idea of Kutipravesha is to just have a new body, to have a new girlfriend and new boyfriend. You see, you analyze, most of the people idea is limited to that. But even in the Punarjanma, I want to tell you a very beautiful story from the Tibetan philosophy. There was a Tibetan master, and he was doing a tapas on the banks of a river. He was 90-year-old, very, very old person. One day, a beautiful lady came to fetch the water, and this Lama tried to rape her, wanted to have a sex with her, and she escaped. And many villagers came, and they told, what happened? So the Lama told, you see, there is a mountain, there is a monastery, and in that monastery, one of the junior Lama was studying. He died, but he didn't have very good karma in his life. But he was good too. So his Atma was wandering here. I wanted to give him a human body, but she escaped, and after she went, 2 donkeys had sex here, and now that Lama is growing as a donkey. See, the Punarjanma cannot be guarantee a human life. So the point is, we have to attempt for the moksha, ultimate liberation in this life only. And that is why the Kutipravesha Rasayana is designed by our ancient people, and it is a gift for us. See, when we analyze our own life, at the age of 50 or 60, we always think, if I had the maturity, what I have now, if I had the same maturity when I was 25 years old, I would have led a different life. So when we have the energy and the youthfulness, we don't have the maturity. We don't have enough spirituality. So when we have that, our youthfulness is gone. So the Kutipravesha gives a second chance to the person who want to tread a path of moksha. So with this background, I will move on to the stories. Okay, story, what story means? How it happened in my life. When I was a 10th standard student, I will share everything with you. I was 10th standard student. I happened to read one Kannada book called Sulabha Chikitsa. It is in 1988. Easy treatments. So in that there was a beautiful chapter called Akala Vruddhapya. Akala Vruddhapya means untimely aging. And the author has put the Kutipravesha Rasayana as one of the easy treatments for the Akala Vruddhapya. And he told Tapasvi Maharaj, who could live with the Kutipravesha Rasayana for 185 years, could get back new teeth, new hair and new nails. And that was really, really fascinating from me. And on that very day, I decided to explore Kutipravesha Rasayana in my life. And after completing my graduation, I had a chance to study MBBS. My rank was 25th in the state to get into the government college. But I did not go. I went for the BAMS just to learn the Kutipravesha Rasayana. And when I went to SDM Ayurvedic College, it was not in practice, but still, my teachers were excellent, and I didn't find any deficiency because there was no Kutipravesha Rasayana. And even now, my practice in Kutipravesha or in the OPD is solely because of their teaching. I offer my pranams to them. And after, in 2000, I completed my BAMS and straight away went to the Ayurvedic practice as OPD because of economical reasons. Then I did my extensive travel in India. I traveled from Kanyakumari to Mount Kailash, and from Dwaraka to Jagannath Puri in search of the medicines, persons, information, architecture and everything. And it was very, very fulfilling. Mostly I got inspiration and insights. In Vrindavan, I remember still when I was visiting all the places where Tapasvi Maharaj went in India, I was meditating in a Radha Rukmini temple where Tapasvi Maharaj had the darshan. And at some point, one person came, "Idhar kyun baithe ho? Utho, utho. Udhar to ye mandir to Seth loge ne banaya. This mandir is being built by the Seth logs. And the Puratan mandir is there. You go there." And I went there, and really in a fraction of a second, I had a very beautiful vision how the kuti should be. And that was a blessing of Tapasvi Maharaj. And upon that insight, I have built the kuti, which is a very, very successful model. And I also had many, many different kind of models to put the kuti, because it cannot be single one. And in 2006, I had some amount of money from my practice, and it was the time to purchase a land. And I purchased a land. See the universal arrangement. I had to purchase the land to put the kuti from the same author who wrote that book, which I read in my 10th standard. And I purchased the land and I put the kuti. You will not believe. Without a OPD or without a IPD, I built only kuti. That was first. And even before Swami Sachidananda, I met Swami Sachidananda. It was from my intuition I built the kuti. And in 2007 December, I admitted my very first patient, Mr. Michael from Austria. And I survived his Kutipraveshika, And it was a great success actually. And the medicine what I used was Palashamalaki medicine. At that time I did it with my intuition and my thinking. After 50 or 60, I don't remember because I didn't keep the records. 50 or 60 days of Kutipravesha, one day he decided to come out. And I still remember that day, my first patient. I was just out of my Sandhya Vandana in the morning at 6:30. It was in January, February time. And in the very early morning, this guy came out of the kuti. And I was just out of my house and he was out of the kuti and walking on the road. He was 100 meters away with a full of radiance against a rising sun. And really, even now I get the horripilations. I really read the whole shloka of Charaka Samhita. Dirghamayum smritim medha arogyam tarunam vaya prabhavarana swarodaryam dehendriya balam param vaksiddhim pranatim kantim labhate na rasayanat. I could really visualize the whole shloka in each and every gate of that patient. And it was so much fulfilling. And I just charged 10,000 rupees at that time for him. And after seeing, he was a hippie kind of person before. After seeing the changes in him, he was wandering near Gokarna in our region. Many, many Westerners started to come to our center. And one Westerner was so much impressed because he was his friend, impressed by the changes what the Kutipravesha Rasayana made him. At that time, I was very, very poor, I tell you. I don't come from an economically good background. So when he came to know that I lack money, he gave his ATM card to me. And he told, you can take every day 25,000 rupees until your whole project is completed. And I drew the money. The universe helps you. And I built another kuti and IPD, OPD. Now I have a very beautiful place and economically well off, and I serve all my villagers free of cost, including the IPD, including the OPD, food, medicine and everything, including if a person is needy, I serve them free Kutipravesha also. So before I go on to the kuti, the real subject, I will tell you something about Tapasvi Maharaj. Tapasvi Maharaj was a king of Punjab. And he born in 1779, and then he left his kingdom, went to Delhi, and he died in 1955. and he did his first Kutipravesha Rasayana at the age of 90 years in Parashuramakund near Assam. At that time, some other Tapasviji, whom the name is not known, he did. And later, my master, Swami Sachidananda, met him after the 1900, and Swami Sachidananda, who taught me this Kutipravesha, was with him until his last breath. Swami Sachidananda accompanied him to many Kutipravesha. He told me that he has done at least 500 Palasha Amalaki tree Rasayana. And they had a very big area in Jhansi in Madhya Pradesh, 500 acres of land. And I have seen one kuti built by Tapasvi Maharaj himself in Vrindavan, and I will show you the slide later on. Tapasvi Maharaj, the Kutipravesha was, and the Rasayana was his lifestyle. He did many things actually. Once, he stayed on the Bilwa tree for 1 year, eating only Bilwa fruit juice, eating only the juice of Bilwa leaves, and drinking the decoction of the Bilwa roots. It is in the Sushruta Samhita, later I found. And once he did Jyotishmati Taila in some capsule form, taking only milk. And after the Bilva Rasayana, his whole body, Swami Sachidananda told me, turned into a golden like, he was very radiant. Swami Tapasvi Maharaj was very big guy, 6.5 feet tall, with a very well built. He was a king, and he was very strong. I have met a few people who really saw him. There is one person now in Bangalore, his name is Vishakanta, who describes him in an unforgettable way. You can meet him, I will tell you where you can find him. So now let us move on to the kuti, how to build the kuti actually. So before that I tell you, I see many ladies here. So among my patients there were many ladies, and they were more successful than the men. Because they were more spiritually advanced, I think, because it is a motherly soul, so they can do it very well than men. And one of the lady was Grace. She married to an Indian man, and she did Kutipravesha Rasayana. And she told me that where to build the kuti, the Bhumi Desha. She told, because she was a real estate agent in Canada. And she told, when I consider a place, Bhumi, I consider only 3 things. First thing is the location. Second thing is the location. And third thing is the location. Because you can change everything except the location. So please don't select any place which is near to the road. Because the people whom you are going to get are going to be extremely sensitive to the sound inside the kuti. Extremely sensitive. Road, horns, big sound boxes, big entertainment complexes, please avoid. Try to do it far away from the road and the nuisance. I praised the woman a little bit before because I want to be on the safer side. Because in our classics, they have put one more thing, how the kuti should be, what should not be there. It is not only sound, it is the Stri Vivarjita. The kuti should be mosquito proof, tiger proof, crocodile proof, snake proof, and also woman proof. So why? I think the Acharyas were very well aware of the Me Too movement, what is coming in this era. So they wanted to avoid it probably. Or they wanted to give the future clients, husbands, a luxury of staying away from the wife, Once I had one couple coming to my Kutipravesha Rasayana facility to try. The wife wanted to do the Kutipravesha, and husband was very happy to finance it. And after a big conversation, she decided to do it for 3 months. and I see the husband was already rejuvenated half, by her decision. So the conclusion what I have drawn is Kutipravesha Rasayana of the wife acts as a very good Vatatapika Rasayana for the husband. So it is very important. When you are doing a consultation, it is important to consider the relation. I hope I can share a joke with you. Osho Rajneesh, he used to always tell a very beautiful joke. There were a couple, Mullah Nasruddin, he used to, don't feel any bad, or Mr. Ramesh. And they always used to fight, husband and wife. After each fight, this husband, Mullah Nasruddin, used to be very depressed, but his wife used to be very happy. So one day he asked, he could not resist, what is the secret you are having? So she told, after each fight I go to the toilet. So next day after the fight, Mr. Ramesh or Nasruddin went to the toilet and he came depressed. Then he told, no, it doesn't work. You tell me what is your secret. Then next day she told, no, I go inside the toilet and wash the toilet. So next day Nasruddin, after the fight, he went and he washed the toilet. So that was not working for him. So he insisted, please tell me the secret, please. Then she told, see, I wash the toilet with your toothbrush, she told. So that is the kind of the relation what usually the husband, they want a freedom from each other. So Kutipravesha offers that much needed freedom at the age of 50 and 60 years. Okay, now I will come to the other part of the Kutipravesha. So woman proof means probably they are stressing the part of Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is very, very important. It is a celibacy as well as there is one beautiful shloka in Charaka Samhita that Brahmachari Jitendriyaha. It is in the other context. Jitendriya means it is not controlling just the sense organs. It is the interpretation done in the Gangadhara Tika is Sankalpa Rahitya. The person should be devoid of determination. See the problem in the patient. He want to come to the kuti just to have new teeth, new hair and new life and to live for 500 years. But this very determination acts as a prohibition. He should be free from every desire. This is the big problem what we are facing. So I think one of the questions what I saw in the WhatsApp group was what the advice you give to the patients who enter. The one beautiful example what always I give to my clients is what should be the attitude of the person who is taking the kuti as well as who is giving this Kutipravesha Rasayana. There was one beautiful Zen master in the Japan. I tell this story to them. And this Zen master, one day he was sitting with all his disciples for a discourse and he declared, nobody can defeat me. Nobody can defeat me. Everyone was astonished. Why nobody can defeat you? What is your secret? He again told, nobody can defeat me. Then when they insisted, what is your secret? He told, because I am already defeated. See this person so much relaxed. He doesn't have a desire to win. It is important. He doesn't have a desire to win. So this free from the desire. When all the mental activities are having a nishkama bhava, then only it is possible to achieve the very, very good results. Okay? So now the kuti. Vistara utseda sampannam trigarbham sukshmalochanam. Vistar, it should be big, adequately big. So what the dimension, the best dimension is 50 into 50. 50 feet wide and 50. Or it can be round. Or it can be like a spiral. Or it can be oval. And the walls should be made from very good mud. And what should be the composition of the mud, Mud, lime, and the jaggery and the decoction of haritaki, decoction of the bark of the amra, means the mango tree, all these should be mixed and made into and should be ground well and should be used. And it is called as rammed earth construction. And the thick of the wall should be at least 3 feet. If it is 5 feet, it is fantastic. And the doors should be always not more than 4 feet. And Sukshma Lochanam, it is very interesting. What should be the ventilation of the kuti? See, when they say Sukshma Lochana, see, Lochanam is eyes. And it is very, very symbolic how they told in the classics. Lochana lies in the upper part of the body. So, the ventilation should be on the upper part. No ventilation should be provided as a window. And the dimension of the Lochana compared to the body is very small. So, it should be very small. And the purpose of the Lochana is to take the light inside. So, the Lochana should permit some light inside the kuti. As a popular belief, kuti is not a dark room. It is suspashtam manasapriyam. The suspashtam means there should be adequate light for the practical purposes. So what I have drawn from my experience is, it is better to have the light, indirect light I mean, in a very minimum intensity, or maybe ghee lamp during the shodhana krama. And when the Rasayana starts, it is better to take away the light, because darkness is equally important. So that by that time the patient gets adopted. In the Gangadhara Tika, Charaka Samhita has got a beautiful commentary from Gangadhara, and he says, Bhittehe upari means the upari side, the upper part of the bhitti, there should be ventilation. Prakasha pravishanartham, that means it should be for entering the light. So it is not a dark room. See, I was impressed by the dark room. To get the inspiration for this Kutipraveshika, I travelled even to Andaman Nicobar to see the cell of the Savarkar. And there is a beautiful novel in French, Papillon. Papillon has one beautiful story called Dark Cell. Dark Cell, okay? So now let me tell you something about the darkness. I will use some modern science in it, but it is very interesting. I don't know, my knowledge in the modern science is limited. I hope I will be able to tell you in a way it is convincing for you. In the Tao philosophy, Tao means it's a Buddhism philosophy, darkness plays a very great role in the spiritual field. If you see around the world, darkness is considered as a pathway to spirituality. In Europe, it is in the underground tunnels. In the Egypt, it is in the form of pyramids. In the Essenes and in Israel, it is in the form of catacombs. And in the Tao philosophy, it is in the form of caves. So, Buddhists believe that the caves contain the earliest information of the life on the Mother Earth. So, they consider it as having energy lines. So, they say, when you go into the darkness, when the darkness comes total, the darkness will turn into the light. See, in Charaka Samhita, there is one beautiful saying, Purushoyam Loka Samhitaha. Whatever the universe, it is the same thing in the human being. And I tell you what is the modern thing, what is the, with little bit spirituality. You know the North Star, Dhruva Nakshatra. Dhruva Nakshatra is the constellation, is the nakshatra around which all the constellations move. And the Dhruva Nakshatra emanates violet emanations, which is grasped, which is taken by the Saptarushi Mandala, and they in turn emit infrared lights. And these infrared lights and the violet emanations are the connection between the human being and to the divinity. So, Dhruva Nakshatra is considered as the door of the heaven. You can tune into this violet emanations if you can have the capability to access or tune into these emanations. And this is possible in the darkness technology. When you are inside a kuti, I think Dr. Shriji told me why there is darkness or why there is Trigarbha. The why should be, I think, these three Garbha structure will filter out everything unnecessary and only lets in only the spiritual or divine vibrations in, so that we can easily tune into this universal energy. So it is a very, very beautiful thing. You know, the nature has built one kuti inside us also. So it is the combination of this kuti and with the universe which makes a fantastic combination. And you know where that kuti lies inside us? It lies within the brain, and it is called as crystal palace. And this crystal palace is formed by a space between, imaginary space between thalamus, hypothalamus, pineal gland and the pituitary gland. If this crystal palace is illuminated, then you can connect yourself to the divine. You know why we are all awake? Or rather, what is the main function of the brain? Before cheating others, the main function of the brain is to cheat us, because its main function is to prevent us from having any divine connections, so that we can survive on this earth. That is why the brain has got capability to produce many, many inhibitors. Why we are awake? We are awake because the brain has got a system. Is it boring for you? Okay. So the brain we are awake because a chemical called serotonin. And serotonin is produced in the intestine and many other glands, many other cells, and that traverses to the brain, and reticular activating system, and this takes the signals from our skin, eyes and ears, but not from the olfaction. So see the beauty of it. That is why many people die in house fires when they are asleep, because the serotonin, this reticular activating system, wakes up the brain only through the serotonin, except the olfactory. So the people cannot smell the smoke. I think it has a beautiful message, beautiful hidden message. When we see Mahamratyunjay mantra, Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, that means olfaction, which is related with the earth, has something to do with the rejuvenation. See, so now I will come to the serotonin. When the serotonin reaches the brain, when it activates the brain, it keeps us alert. We are awake. We can hear, we can analyze. But the hypothalamus plays a major role in deciding the day and night rhythm. So when the night sets in, if the serotonin continues its work, we can't sleep. So what the hypothalamus will direct the pineal gland is to release something, monoamine oxidase enzyme, to inhibit the serotonin. So the serotonin is inhibited and the melatonin is produced. And that melatonin will cool down the sympathetic nervous system and help us to sleep. But when the day comes, it is again the same story. Serotonin will get activated and we are awake. So we are in the day and night cycle. So what happens in the kuti, in the darkness, is pineal gland is always very sensitive to the darkness. So when the serotonin is very concentrated in the brain, the hypothalamus gland gets confused. So it is a kind of cheating we are doing to our brain. So now more and more melatonin will accumulate in the brain. So main function of the melatonin is to calm us down, to make us sleep. So what a beautiful thing will happen is, you will start to sleep while you are continuously awake. So it is sleeping while you are awake. And that is the starting point of realization. And further, after, if you are successfully able to overcome all your emotions, all your bad thoughts, the melatonin will convert into spiritual molecules. 5-dimethyltryptamine. 5-methoxy-dimethyltryptamine is a spiritual molecule manufactured in the brain, and further it will manufactured into dimethyltryptamine. So these are all the abilities of the brain, where if these are manufactured, then the person can have all the clairvoyance and all the beautiful spiritual dimensions happening in his life. But our daily activities do not allow it. I think the medicines what we use in Kutipraveshika also will aid in this process. What is the beauty, what I see in this is the Sushruta's explanation. Bhutebhyo hi param yasmat nasti chinta chikitsite. That means all these things, spirit molecules, sleep, everything can be come in the ambit of Pancha Mahabhutas. So the Chikitsa as a Kutipraveshika Rasayana has definitely has a role in spiritual growth of a person too, apart from extending the lifespan. So now the walls and this one. So what should be the roof of the kuti? Roof of the kuti, it is not a concrete block. It should be breathing. The roof should breathe. So the best thing is to put the grass, but it should be very thick. And I have some different designs which I am trying at my new kuti, but it is not yet finalized. And some of the problems what we encounter inside the kuti is humidity. Because of a lack of ventilation, the toilet has to be inside. I usually prefer the toilet in the second round, but which has excess from the inside most chamber. Humidity. So recently in one case I had to put a dehumidifier. But now I have come up with a different design to take the air humidity from above the roof. And the kuti requires every year maintenance. Maintenance is really, really headache, because every year we have to change the roof. But I tell you, you cannot have a uniform design of the kuti which is applicable for all over India. In Himalayas you have to different. In the Kerala it may be different. In the Madhya Pradesh it can be different. So different varieties of the designs are possible in the kuti. So now I will come to the Shodhana part. I will touch only main thing which I think important. The human body has very great ability to adapt. Metabolism is very important. Setting right the metabolism is very, very important for the Kutipraveshika Rasayana medicine. In Charaka Samhita, he says, Tasyam samshodhanair shuddha. So the shodhana has to be done inside the kuti. But in Sushruta Samhita he says, Hritadosha agaram pravishya. That means shodhana can be done outside the kuti and the rasayana can be done inside the kuti. So we can use it according to the situation. Charaka has given a formulation for virechana. Haritakinam churnani saindavamalake gudam. But he says samshodhanaihi. So multiple samshodhana. So what has to be understood is, but he has given the yoga only for the virechana. That means it is multiple virechanas are needed. It is not one virechana. Multiple virechanas are needed until the metabolism comes to one level, until his agni is set right. I had met one interesting fellow last year. He was from US. What the lessons I have taken. You know, we are vegetarians, we are non-vegetarians, and that guy was a breatharian. He was living only on air. He would not eat anything. So the capability what the human body has. So what he says is, he has changed the digestive system activities to his lungs. And with one of his friend, he was working upon a new concept called human photosynthesis. So he used to say, I can absorb the energy from the sun. But the interpretation what my guru told is very beautiful. Human photosynthesis means he can survive, the human body can survive deriving the energy only from the light. That means knowledge. So the people can survive just by knowledge. It is the beauty of it. And the Gayatri mantra is just the very beautiful embodiment of that. There is one person in Gujarat called Prahlad, and DRDO scientists have proved, putting him in a glass house, putting him under the CCTV surveillance, that he could survive for a month without taking any food and the water. I want to tell you, because the Kutipravesha's procedures are extreme. So we have a doubt whether it is possible for a human being. It is definitely possible. If you want to get more inspiration, you can read one beautiful book called Marathon Monks of Mount Hei. This happens in Japan, near the town of Kyoto. So there are some monks, Buddhist monks, take a ritual. You know the marathon? It is 42 kilometers running. And these monks run every day 46 kilometers for continuously 3 months. And continuously for 5 years. Every year they run for 3 months, every day getting up at 12 o'clock and completing it, taking only 2,500 calories of food, which is unbelievable. And at the end of 5 years, there comes a ritual called Doiri. And in that Doiri, they take a fasting of 7 days without taking food, without taking water, and without sleeping. And what the observations they have made is, during that period, their senses become extremely sensitive. They can listen to the ashes is not incense sticks. If the ash drops, they can hear that. That much sensitive. The human body is amazing machine. And I have seen in one of my patients who went inside the kuti, every morning he used to complain me one thing. See, there is an electrical motor which I hear. And then it was disturbing me. I could not really point out any electrical motors. Then I found out that there is an electrical motor which runs 750 meters away. So you can imagine why we have to be very particular about the location of the kuti. So it is just a mix-up of the things anyway. So Shodhana is important, and after the Shodhana, we have to give some time for the patient to get adjusted and get Sukhi Jata Balaha Punaha. So he should come to his normalcy. And during that, Yavagu is prescribed for 3 days, 5 days or 7 days, until the old Shakrat is eliminated. So I usually give only for 3 days, because the people are in a hurry. And now the selection of the medicines, it is very important. What is the criteria to select the medicines? There are so many medicines. The criteria, one criteria is the practicability. Because the Falashruti is absolutely fantastic. Chavanaprasha is Brahma Rasayana is most famous. But I don't choose it, because we can't really manufacture the right kind of Chavanaprasha. We don't have all the drugs. Ashtavarga drugs are not there. These Ashtavarga drugs are the major players in Chavanaprasha and Brahma Rasayana. If they are not there, we cannot have a fantastic result. But Chavanaprasha is practical, in the form of time. I think if the person is having a very good Agni, one yoga can be finished in 3.5 months. So it is practical, time-wise. Ayaskriti is not possible by the Ashtanga Sangra, because almost 5 kilos of Ayaskriti has to be utilized in the span of 1 year, and after this 1 year, a person has to remain inside the kuti for another year. So 2 years nobody can do it. It is almost impossible. Amalaki Ghrata is also not possible. See, it is the Falashruti is fantastic in Charaka Samhita. I don't know whether I remember that shloka. Bhrachariram Girisara Saram. The person can have a mountain-like body with the iron body. But you have to use that Amalaki Grata, which is Shatapaka or Sahasrapaka, for 3 years inside the kuti. This is also not possible. And single drug therapies are possible. Bala, Atibala, Chandana, Agaru, Ashwagandha. But all these, Shatavari, these Varahi, Vidari, all these have to be utilized for at least Shanmata Upayogitvat. All they have to be used for at least 6 months. And the Parihara Kala another 3 months. So it almost consumes 1 year. This is also little difficult, but if not full, we can do at least for few months. But it has a rider. The acharyas have put everything into difficulty. They say all these drugs should be grown in Himalayas. Then only they have the right kind of the result. So, what the best thing we can go for is Palasha Amalaki Rasayana, because Palasha is easily available and the practicality is there, and the beauty is Tenaiva Varteta Cha Masamekam. So the duration of this therapy is only for 1 month. And I have taken this. Later, if you have any questions, I will answer. And this has given very excellent results, and this was the main Rasayana used by Tapasvi Maharaj. Of course, I share you the very beautiful way how Swami Sachidananda explained me what happened in Jhansi when Tapasvi Maharaj was taking this Kutipraveshika Rasayana. You know, there he has to lose the teeth, hair and nail on the 11th day, and will get back the new teeth and new hair. And he told me how the hair came out on the 12th day. It did not fall off, like small, how we have the hair fall. It came out like a cap, as a wig. Then he had a new hair, new teeth and new nails. That is the beauty of it. But Acharyas have not revealed all the secrets in that shloka. There are something. And Swami Sachidananda revealed me that there are some things, and I am working upon it. 2 years back, when he passed away in October, I was on his mission to find out this great medicine. I drove myself alone 3,000 kilometers in my car into the jungles of Chhattisgarh, where many Naxalite problem was there. There no taxi driver wanted to come. So for 30 kilometers I had to take a scooter. And the villagers, I had the problem with the villagers and all. But still, the day he left his mortal frames, Swami Sachidananda, I was at the bottom of that medicine. But still the mission is not complete. I am still working upon it, and I think I will be able to do that. I will share the slides later on, okay? Because I think if I share, something is on the screen, I am speaking here, it can divert your attention. So in the end, I will share all the slides. So now the complications. Really, complications are big. A psychological breakdown can happen, neurological breakdown can happen, emotional breakdown can happen. All these need to be managed, and if not possible, just the doors are open for the patient to come out. In my experience, I don't know, I might have done between 20 to 24 patients. Many of them I remember. There were 4 people who could not complete. And one patient I still remember. See, when you have a kuti, it is very, very important that you have 24-hour attendant outside the kuti. There should be inside one bell, and whenever there is a bell rings, the person has to go inside. I had one lady patient called Devayani, and once I gave her Virechana. She was very great. She come out very successfully with a great results. She was from Britain. But on the day of Virechana, at the time 6 o'clock in the evening, I had inquired her. She had 16 Vegas, and she was feeling little tired. And I was little apprehensive. And on that day at 10 o'clock in the night, I was doing some dressing of patient somewhere in my village, 1 kilometer away. And my assistant called me. Sir, I have heard something very unusual from the inside the kuti. Because when there is a lady, a man is not supposed to enter. I have this rule. Whenever I have to attend a lady patient inside, I go with 2 lady assistants. I never go with single lady assistant. It is important, okay? When there is a man inside, we have only man as an attendant. So this boy called me, and by the time I came back rushing, already 2 ladies had gone inside. And the lady has collapsed in the bathroom. I could not really record her BP. She was sweating. She has passed the blood and all. So that was one big complication I had, and I could put her on the IV drips, and luckily she survived by the grace of the God, It is the grace of the God is very, very necessary. Kripahi, kripahi, kripahi kevalam. It is the only grace of the God in every activities. So she survived, and later she revealed one very, very interesting thing. She told me it is none of your fault or my fault, because about 5 years back in Haridwar, an astrologer has told that on that very day she will die because of a reason which is related with the water. She told she was dying out of the hypovolemic shock of the dehydration. She told it is only because I am inside the kuti I survived. And later she really changed her life, and she wrote me a beautiful book which still I give in my clinics as a day-to-day routine for my patients. So now I will give you some of the case studies. One, Michael, I told you he was very great. One very interesting case I had was Mr. Roman. He was from Austria. And he was about 58-year-old guy, tall, and having a bald head. And he was a blood pressure patient. When he came to our hospital, his blood pressure was 220 by 128. And he was having the arrhythmia of the heart. And as a preparation to come to our hospital, he has stopped all the blood pressure medication. That was added complication. So, and he was not ready to take any allopathy medicines. So, but he gave a undertaking that he can bet his life for this procedure. And then I got him inside the kuti, did a shodhana, only Virechana I did, and gave him Shilajitu Rasayana. I got this Shilajitu from the Kulu Valley. If you go to Manali, there is a Kulu Valley, and if you take a right turn from the cave, there is another valley which is very hidden. It is called Sanj Valley. In that Sanj Valley, I met a very great Naga Sadhu. He showed me the places where Shilajitu grows. I got the Shilajitu and used it. And I gave 12 grams of Shilajit as told as our dosage in the Charaka Samhita. And the results were excellent. I gave it for 3 weeks and then gave some Parihara Kala, and he came out on the day of Christmas because he was a believer of Christianity. And after the 55 days of Kutipraveshika, he had new hairs on the bald head and his arrhythmia was completely gone. His blood pressure was 120/80 and he is still in my touch, in very good of the health. So it was one of the very good results I had. Another patient was from Netherlands, Hans Dryasma. He did Kuti 2 times, 90 days, 90 days. And another person was Swami Advaitananda. I think all of you have seen him. He was in Kottakkal. And from Kottakkal, he went to my hospital and he did it for 5 months. There was all the results were very, very good. Okay, I don't have any scientific data because I never go for it because there is a long way to go. Now I have started recording some of the, but one very, very good example was I have some difficulty in revealing the identity of the person. I will not reveal, but I will tell you what happened with that person. He was 43 years old person and he got the Kutipraveshika Rasayana. Some very, very good changes were there. He went for cancer marker cells and all other immunological things with a MD doctor. And here his height, weight, ECG, everything was checked, was recorded. And he came out, he went to home. It happened in February 24, he came out. In the month of July, his wife noticed one important change. His wife was very proud because they were almost equal height, nose to nose. Then she told, now I have to look like this to see you. So then he went for the checking. So with the same MD doctor, it is noticed that his height was increased by 1.5 inch. 165 centimeter was his height, and after that he had 168 centimeter. It is well recorded case. Another person was Mr. Danny Shair from Israel. He did Kuti 2 times. But 60 days, he had some problems with his immunology and it was solved. Okay, I think in the WhatsApp group what Srijit has formed, there was one question regarding this one. Okay, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi organizations, many people are somehow connected to me because one of the great sage of the modern era, Brahmarshi Daivarat is a very great person who realized the Veda mantras in his life. He was from our region and he was so great that even now in Rashtrapati Bhavan, there is a room called Daivarata room because the Rashtrapati Rajendra Prasad came down to Gokarna to see him when he was a Rashtrapati. And Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, after completing his spiritual education, he went to West to teach the Indian philosophy. And he is teaching them transcendental meditation and the many pranayama techniques. But these Western people, I think there is one Westerner here. Western people are spiritually mature, because they have seen the world to the maximum extent. They are fed up with it. They are really more mature than we Indians to go into the spiritual practice. And he was lucky to have such people. And when they started taking his teachings very seriously, they all started to do like this, some people. And they could not come out of this trance. And Maharishi was really confused what to do now. So he came back to India and he searched the solution. In that search, he came to Gokarna. And in Gokarna, he met Maharishi Daivarat. And he made him to record the Pavamana Sukta of the Vedas in a very authentic way. He took these recordings back to the West. When he played these Pavamana Sukta, they all came to normalcy. Incidentally, Maharishi Daivarata did tapasya at the same place where I have the kuti now. And Maharishi Daivarata's son is also a very close friend of me. You can really feel the energy, that from him. He is a fantastic person. And even his contribution in the making of this kuti is very great. The mud formulation, how to make the old architecture, he is a champion. He is a fantastic man. You should all meet him. His name is Devashrava Sharma. He is a fantastic personality. Okay, so why I started is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's personal pilot who flew his jet aeroplane which had a tap of the gold. This personal pilot who flew his jet plane for 33 years took Kutipraveshika at our center. And he is very, very fit person. And also Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's personal lawyer, Mr. Justice Christoph, Dr. Christoph. He is a German judge, retired judge. He was a very great personality. Maharishi used to call him, he is the spearhead of the organization. So, Dr. Christoph took the Kutipraveshika. I still remember one very nice, it can remind you how the difficulty the Kutipraveshika is. When the Christoph was inside, next turn was Mr. Karl, the pilot of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. They were both friends. So on the last days, I met Christoph inside the kuti. And he told how the days are going now. See, now in few days I am going to be out. But I am really worried about poor Karl. He doesn't know what is waiting for him here. So he was really worried. It really puts a very great challenges for you inside the kuti. See, when all the outside stimulations are blocked, emotional states and feeling states are enhanced. If you go with the love inside, love will become 10 times more. If you go with the hatred, 10 times it will go. It will enhance it. See, the rishis have told it in a very beautiful way. So before you go into the kuti, they had told, Maitrim Bhuteshu Karayan. So you should love all the existence and then only. And the Tao philosophy says, only these love vibrations can illuminate the crystal palace in the brain. So finally, what matters is this feeling of love towards the whole existence, so life. So dear friends, we are all here to consider a great professional possibility. So I am also one among you. We are all sailing in the same boat, and I never had done any presentation in any seminars. It is for the first time I appear in a seminar. So I really, really thank all the organizers for giving me the opportunity. So now except once I did a small talk to the internees of the Alvas College. Otherwise, it is my first presentation. Thank you very much. So I will give I hope this pineal gland will work. And I will show some slides. See, one more thing before that. You can start actually. There is one historian. There is one question from which I noticed was there any exaggeration? There is no exaggeration. The only record is our acharyas. We don't have to do anything, any proofs. It is all proven. Just we have to experience. That's all. There is no exaggeration, acharyas. Why should they? They are aptas. It happened in 1890. Have you heard of Sir John Woodroffe? Sir John Woodroffe was a great British judge in Kolkata. And in that 1890s, he visited Kolkata University to give a lecture. And when he asked the students, what you feel about your history, this history or your text, Mahabharata, Ramayana and all. And the students at that time they told, it's all meaningless. He was shocked. Later, this John Woodruff, he writes in his book very beautifully, it may be good or it may be bad, but it has a meaning. They were not fools to believe in what is meaningless. It was very beautifully said. Later, he studied our Tantra Shastra to such a depth that even if the Calcutta Tantrics, if they had any doubt, they used to come to John Woodruff. He had changed his name to Vamadeva Shastri, and he has written some beautiful books. See the mantra, what the title he has given is Garland of Letters. And to the Kundalini Shakti, he has written Serpent Power and the Principles of Tantra. They are very beautiful books. Please read. One more thing regarding that exaggeration. See, a historian, I don't know his name, he has told that nowadays we think that our ancestors have told everything a literal stories and we are smart enough to believe them symbolically. Means they have told all literal stories, we are smart enough to believe them or understand them symbolically. But he says it is not. It is not. It is that they have told everything symbolically and we are dumb enough to understand them literally. So it is a vice versa. So our brain is trained, our education system is trained as so that we see everything back to front. We have to tune it back, and the Kutipraveshika Rasayana gives us a fantastic opportunity to do that. So this is Tapasvi Maharaj who lived for 185 years. I should say he is the grand master of me and Dr. Srijit, and see all of us, it has started in your life too. Okay, next slide. So he is born in 1970 and 1955 he passed away. Next. I think Srijit has already shared this. This photo was taken when he was 182 years in Bangalore. You know, if anybody is from Bangalore here? Okay, so you might have seen Nandi Hills. So on the foothills of the Nandi Hills, there is an ashram called Vishnu Ashram. And in Vishnu Ashram, Tapasviji did tapasya for 1 year, taking only milk. And there is still his big chair is there. Very big chair. So this was his palace. And this is the place where Tapasvi Maharaj stayed in Bangalore. And this is in North India. I visited, there is a temple dedicated to him where he did Kutipraveshika, Court 1. Still you can see that place. And this is the Kuti. This is the Kuti which was built in 1934 by Tapasvi Maharaj. And you know, now this Kuti, when I went there, it was being used as a pawn shop. See, the one important, very beautiful thing is the door in a very bad condition. See, when the thickness of the wall is 3 feet, 5 feet, it is not enough to have one door. At first you should have one door at this place and you open. Next there is one door here. So totally 3 walls will have 6 doors. Okay, next. So this is the Sukshma Lochana, very in the end. It is not from my Kuti, it is from Tapasviji's Kuti. See, then you see there are 2 doors. Okay, next. This is where Tapasvi Maharaj did his tapasya. He was a very great penance person where he did Panchagni tapas. This is the cow. I just forgot to tell you about the cow. This is the cow in my garden. See, when the cow has to be selected, there are criteria. Urdhva Shrangam, it should be having the horn which is pointing up. Then Jivet Vatsam, it should be having a live calf. And this is something which I gathered from my village friends, it should be having small hairs, okay, small hairs. And in my center, I feed this cow with Chandra Prabhavati, Kamaduga and Shatavari Rasayana when I use it, like a, and very importantly, cow is meant for producing the milk from the grass. So, it should not be fed with maize or anything. You can give them wild leaves or some very potent medicines, but no other artificial food. Oh, this is Tapasvi Swami Sachidananda, and on the other side he is a very powerful Swamiji who is living in Kolhapur. He came to our center to see the kuti. He has got about 20 lakh followers, and the beauty is he has 1,000 Indian breed cows. He has Punganur cows. Punganur is fantastic cow. One calf costs 4.5 lakh rupees, Punganur cows. And that is the best milk you can use. This is Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Guruji. He gifted me 2 cows for the Kutipraveshika Rasayana. And this is the kuti when it was under the construction. Okay, there is a small entering, and the third wall is being made still. Foundation, foundation of the kuti is, what I have done is 50 into 50 feet. I have taken all the mud, lifted the mud up to 3 feet and replaced with the stones up to 72 centimeter above the ground. So the kuti stands on a very solid platform. And then the walls are built, and all the walls are 3 feet thick. So the person lying there will be inside with a 9 feet thick wall insulation. So it can be radiation proof, I guess. You can see inside there is one more, this one, inside. So 3 walls should be having 3 roofs. Okay, next. So this is another view. Okay, finally when it was, this is the only day before yesterday I have taken this photograph. Oh, this is another kuti which I built before I met Swami Sachidananda, and it is still very practical and very useful. This is the this Palasha Malaki Rasayana. The selection of the tree is very, very important. The selection of the tree is Taruna Palasha. It should be young. Don't take big trees. It is of no use. Niruja Ardra Palasha. It should be Ardra also. It should be wet. Preferably, it should be grown near the river. It should not be grown in a very dry area. Okay, Niruja. If you see 100 Palashas, only you may get 1 fit tree. It is very difficult because Swami Sachidananda trained me in a very precise way to select the trees. All the Palasha trees always have a problem of insects and holes. If you go on doing holes, then after reaching some depth, you will see some holes. And if you prepare in that, all your medicines is of no use. Okay? So, Ni Ruja. It should have any markings of any weapons, or it should be young. What is the meaning of young, Taruna means when a person gets young. It is at the age of 16 years. So the Palasha tree should be of 16 years, or it should have flowered for the first time, and it should not have any cut, and it should not have any chidras. This is the criteria to select. And then we have to dig in the hole. See how to dig the hole. A normal chisel is not enough. We have to get the big ones. If you want to see the chisel, what has to be used, I got the idea in Jagannath Puri. In Jagannath Puri, they have a Rath Yatra. And every year they manufacture these big wheels. And for that, they have a very big chisels. And I got the chisels from Jagannath Puri to prepare this medicine. Okay? I think in the previous slide, there is a chisel. You can see the big one. Previous one. Yeah. See that this big chisel. Okay? So it is Antar Dvihasta Gambhiram. It should be 2 hasta. Deep. Hole has to be done. Then Purayed Amalakair Namaihi. So this is the shloka I am quoting from the Ashtanga Hridaya. so that it should be filled with the new amalaki. And then a lid has to be pre-prepared, from the same, this one, and you have to put a lid up from the same tree. Amulam veshtitam darbaihi. So it should be covered with the darbha grass. Padmini pankalepitam. So the mud taken from the pond of the Padmini, Kamala. So don't get confused with the lily and the lotus. The mud should be taken from the lotus pond. You know the difference between lotus and lily? The lily leaves float on the water, whereas the lotus leaves come out of the water. So it should be from the lotus pond, not from the lily pond. I got it from the Yellapur. Okay? And then Aranya Gomayair Adipayet. But here there is a difficulty. Swami Satchidananda was very particular about collecting the dungs from the forest and use it. But I really could not do it. So I manufactured these cow dungs cakes without the husk. Without the husk is very important. Just use only the cow dung and Adipayet. And it should be lit from the above. And usually what we do is this whole process, taking the dig, and it will take 24 hours. Then packing. Packing takes another 6 to 8 hours. And then we assemble this. We let the mud to dry and the gomaya is lit, and we put the fire, and it will burn for few hours, and the heat inside the tree will remain for 48 hours. So we have to take the medicine after 48 hours. Next. So this is Adipayat. So it is next day morning. Next. So see, the grass which we covered is not burnt. If you attend this session, you will be amazed. You can feel the heat from 50 feet. Still the grass is not burnt. In that way, we have to cover it. Otherwise, if the tree is burnt, then it is gone. How the Tapasviji used to explain this process was, he used to say, when this heat is there, it will suck the extracts from its root, and it will go into the amalaki and it will be used. He also used to add the medicines from the Brahma Rasayana into it. But I never used it. I used only the bark of the palasha tree inside. So this is taken out. And see how it is now. It is Susvinna. When it is Susvinna, it is taken out. See, the beauty is the strength of the palasha tree. After we burn, we cut, we take it out. After 15 days, it is again alive. See the strength what it has, the rejuvenation capacity it has. So this I photographed after 15 days. Okay. So this is a special garden I have. Now I have formed a garden wherein every year I plant 20 palasha trees. Every year 20 only. Because if I put 100, so after 16 years we can't use 100. So only 20. Next year 20. Next year 20. So this I will do until 16 years. And then use the first batch after 16 years. So these 16 years I considered as LKG of my Kutipraveshika Rasayana. And these are the trees I grown specially for, totally dedicated for the Kutipraveshika. Next. So this was Mr. Christoph, and look at that black boy, he is my son, Advaita. And one day, as soon as the Dr. Christoph came out of the kuti, he asked my son, what you want to become? And he told, I want to become a Rishi, he told. Okay, next. This was, the white guy was Sanat Kumar. He did kuti for 5 months in my facility, and he is amazing person, really amazing. And he told me, see, this person has a great capability. He did in Manasa Sarovara. I visited Manasa Sarovara. It is extremely difficult to stand in the cold. But I have seen 10 deaths in front of me in that Kailas Manasa Sarovar Yatra. And this person, he has shown me the videographs, he could just immerse himself up to the deep neck until this much and do tapasya for 45 minutes in that Manasa Sarovara. And he did Vidanga Amalaki Rasayana himself, and he came and he told, with his experience, I really could get what is the stage of serotonin, melatonin, 5-methoxy, DMT and DMT. All, it was very beautiful how it means manifested in him. And later, after the Kuti, he went to Rajasthan to do a tapasya. Okay. So this was Swami Advaitananda who did for 5 months. So he was a breatharian in the middle. And these are Supreme Court judges and High Court judges where we gave a speech regarding the Kuti and the breatharian concept. This was our Ayush minister. And this is very important. So this person is Montecchia. He has a biggest dark room retreat center in the world. Biggest. He gives the dark room retreat 50 people at a time. And I have visited his place. Just next slide. It is at his house. Next. Okay, this is see the balloons you see? And you know why he has put the balloons? When the people move in the dark, so when they hit the balloon, they should know that there is something in front to bang. And his assistants go with a night vision goggles to give the food and all. And it is amazing facility with the sound barriers, soundproof system for all 50 people. And he has done extensive research upon the darkroom technology. And he is considered as the one of the top 8 Tao masters in the world. I was his guest for a few days, and it was a great interaction between him, and he is a really great master. Okay, next. That is the inside his dark room. But the negative part is he don't give any medicines. He teaches only Tai Chi, and he gives good food. Next. So it is a collective work, you know. These are all my staff. It was in 2015 when Swami Satchidananda visited us. But between 2012 and before he passed away, he stayed at our center for almost 6 months. I had many great interactions, and it was really, he was a great soul, and his contribution is immense to all of us. I think that is the end of it. Thank you very much. Namaste.